Goosebumps. They're so good, it's scary.
Hello, Goosebumps fans. So, with the new book coming out, it's time to do a new edition of EDISU, aka Even Deaf, I Screw You. So, we're talking about Monster Blood again, and we're going to talk about in full detail, and this time it's a little bit powered, just a teeny tiny bit by Goosebuds. Because I was listening to their second one, it's like, it got me jogging memories of let's correct this and see how we do this again, and most likely it's going to be some rehashing. So rehashing and Tadasi, I told you so, and the blah blah blah. So anyways, first we go to the first book ever. The first book, as you guys can remember, he got this can from the store, and note this is an old retro store. He didn't have bunches of cans, he only had one, so I'm pretty sure this is a rare commodity. Let's just say that it's a rare commodity, it's an old toy, and since it never been opened, that's why it is in decent condition. Pretty sure the many other ones that actually existed, since it's an old retro store, it most likely came out in the 60s, 70s, whatever. And well, I'm pretty sure if you can get one, it's going to be a pretty penny to get this. So it's like, yeah, it's like he might have not even needed to open it. He could have just kept it and looked online. But of course, since it's the 90s, he wouldn't know. And plus, eBay wasn't truly popular until 1997 onwards. But don't quote me on that. So he took it home, and of course, secretly, Sarah Beth actually cursed it. Now, this is where we have to do the first thing of read between the lines, everyone. Read between the lines. It says she cursed the monster blood, but in actuality, we have to go by this idea of every time the monster blood is near Evan, it acts up and tries to kill him, because that's what she wanted to do, is get rid of Evan. That was the main point. And of course, then you're going to ask, what about Trigger when he ate some? And in a later book, what about Cuddles? He ate some. The thing is that the animals have their own sentience. So since the animals have their own sentience, there's no way, shape, or form that monster blood itself can corrupt it. That's just how it goes. That's the rules. Is that the monster blood just makes him grow, but it doesn't do anything on that point. And note, it was very potent in... It's like, I don't know if the episode maybe stretched things. I don't know how big Trigger became in the first book. I have only the Horror Town to look at, and of course the TV show, which he grew to be maybe Clifford size. Damn. So it's like, yeah, I think the very first book, the monster blood was very, very potent, because guess who? Sarah Beth was alive, and she was powering it with her magic. So the power source was still there, which means it is very, very potent and is going to kill you, Evan. And of course, well, it didn't, because what? The monster blood doesn't have a good mind of its own. It was trying to kill Evan and will not stop with anything in its bloody way. Means that if Sarah Beth gets in the way, which she got shoved in it or something, it took her and absorbed her, thus destroying its power source, because it can't think, and thus it can't do anything anymore, and it just destroyed its own existence, because it's a mindless toy or monster trying to kill Evan. That's the only thing it was here to do, is kill Evan. Since she didn't put a mind on it or anything, she just cast it to kill him. There was no way to actually where she could still be safe, and Trigger over there actually would become Cujo. But since that didn't happen, that is how the first book ends. The monster blood is still there, or the can is still also enchanted. I don't know which one we can really say here. I would just say that there's a sliver. You can't really always get rid of anything. Like, for instance, you drink a bottle of water, you drink a soda, you get some cranberry out. There's usually a little bitty micro bit of the contents inside of it. You can't always actually get 100% out. If you can, well, lucky you don't waste anything. So with that said, we get into the second book, where Andy brings the can. Notice the can did not do anything until what? Evan touched it. It was around Evan. And that is when the monster blood reformed itself. But since it doesn't have the power source, and I'm rehashing what I said in the previous one, it's not exactly can kill Evan that easily. It's like it'll try to kill Evan, or just the fact of it's just doing its usual thing. And it's gonna try to kill, but it's like I think what could happen, which makes sense, is that just like Sarah Beth, if it kills Evan, it'll stop completely, and then the curse won't happen ever again because the main objective has been resolved. Evan got killed. The end. No more monster blood. There can't ever be monster blood anymore. The end. But considering he survives book 2, monster blood can continue on. And with the hamster, it's like with the hamster has sentience, but yet it is attacking. Plus, Evan himself ate some. Weirdly enough, they both actually cap at 10 foot. And this is where we get to Goosebuds, where like, oh my gosh, he's naked. And it's like, yeah, at first I was like, yeah, he's naked, but turning 10 foot just means that he ripped his clothes. His clothes are freaking ripped. But sadly, the book doesn't even want to even address that. That's the worst part, is that the book doesn't even want to address the fact of his clothes have been ripped. Definitely ripped. Yeah, it's kind of like, what was a good one? I don't really know for sure. I forgot what movie could actually tell you what exactly is going on. But even so, you would figure that the monster blood would attack him, which I'm pretty sure at this case it might have, question mark. But of course, considering, I'm not sure on this case. It's like this case, I'm not really sure because it's like the magic got a little bit tainted at this point. I'm pretty sure that's what we can really say, is that the magic got tainted and it could easily do something, but it's like, how exactly can it do anything to Evan though? It's like, yeah, how exactly could it do anything to Evan? Chances are we could say that even the stomach acid might be more powerful than the monster blood. Because the monster blood could actually just be like when Homer ate that weird alien goo, which the alien goo itself could have actually just killed Homer on the spot. Just notice the fact of how it leaked out of his body. It could have actually expanded to the point of where his head exploded, and that's it. He's dead. Could have done it to Evan, but of course, well, he actually digested it. And I'm pretty sure stomach acids, believe it or not, beats monster blood. So, with all that said, you would figure that monster blood would actually be in key way with Cuddles and he'll try to kill you. Didn't happen. Then we get to the next one where it's like the end of it, where it's like, this is a big conundrum because no one has yet even explained to me what's up. Because is Monster Blood 3 the same can from Monster Blood 1 and 2, or are we dealing with Andy's Monster Blood? I don't know. It's like, that's a question. It's like, I don't know. But it makes perfect sense in a way. I would say, yeah, it does make perfect sense in a way. Well, number one, Cuddles try to eat that, and I doubt anything will happen because, like I said, if something really truly happened, and in the third book, you had police officers and everything swarm and all that, and it's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Well, technically, the fourth one's not canon, so that sucks. And plus, someone actually said that no, it's different from what someone else said, and it's like, oh dang it. But I would just say that if Cuddles did turn big again, I would have to say that he would have been confiscated, but thus, since he's in the third book, nothing happened. That monster blood did not do anything. So I could actually get to the point of where it's like, that can alone is the only thing that actually is monster blood related. And the monster blood now is actually dormanted. The power is extremely dormanted. Means that it can't be used anymore. It's harmless, technically. Nothing can happen anymore. The second monster blood, however, is like, if it is used in the third book, then that means that it is active, even though nothing overflowed this time around. So I would have to believe that only Evan's can is the one that is actually enchanted. So the whole thing of there's monster blood all over the place that's actually very, very active, it can't happen because only Evans can only actually do that. It's like before I was like maybe because of Evans' touch, but I'm like, nah, we could even just say that maybe since, because at first I was thinking about maybe it was Andy's can too that activated. And it's like, uh-oh. But it's like, yeah, until right now, I could actually just go with this idea of maybe that the third monster, because notice that in the third book, there was no freaking overflow of monster blood at all. They just said, hey, let's just use some monster blood. So I'm pretty sure they actually just said, fuck it, and just use Evan's can instead of Andy's. Because, well, I'm pretty sure, I don't know what happened with Andy's can. And considering if they said that Andy's parents sent that can, which I thought at first it was like, oh, wait, no, it's Evan's parents that sent him a can. It's like, no, it's Andy's. So that means that that's hers. Why would they use hers if they've been using Evan's? So Andy's can does nothing. And I'm pretty sure that's the thing that we missed, is that Andy's can doesn't do anything. She has it at home. It's useless. Evan's can is the only one that actually causes lots of trouble. Makes perfect sense. But the thing is that the Evans can doesn't the monster blood doesn't work anymore. So that's the good news. The only crazy part is that, but even though it doesn't work anymore, it doesn't mean that it can't get jump started. That's one thing you need to know. So since it can't be jump started, it can be jump started. That's why the third book had happened. It's because the yeast, which basically we have some alchemy going on here. Alchemy by accident, where they had cake batter and the yeast, which I'm pretty sure the yeast and the monster blood combined to actually kickstart it back up. And the yeast kicked it to overdrive to not only bridge that gap of 10 foot, but now he's 40 foot tall or 30 foot tall, one of those. Which is like, yeah, and notes this time he fixed it by actually having the batter smeared all over his clothes, his shoes, his pants. The only thing that's missing is most likely his undershirt. He was wearing one, and his underwear. That's the only thing that actually happened. Yeah, there we go. Now, the interesting part has to be the fact of where I keep on linking this, because I'm leaking the other books too. I'm leaking the other books as well. So, the fourth book will now be omitted. Kick it to the curve. That's going to be for another day. We get to Monster Blood for breakfast. Of course, Evan, let me just say this because Evan gets to have a happy ending. I'm sorry, Spongy, but it seems like Evan does get to have a happy ending, even if we include Monster Blood 4. Because it turns out either Conan got killed, Conan actually has his clones, the clones actually kill each other, and Conan's fine. I don't know for sure. It's kind of like have to wait for later results. But as for if we talk about Monster Blood 3, eventually we see him in his TV show touching Monster Blood, and Monster Blood is not trying to engulf him or anything. So that means that yes, he has the Monster Blood that's his. So that's the end of that story. But of course, note Kermit, however. This is the interesting detail. Kermit, I think he's a naughty boy. Because he's like, yes, I know, I'm rehashing, but it has to be done. So for Kermit, it seems like Kermit has continued on with Monster Blood, because notice he's a scientific kid. He actually extracted Monster Blood because remember, the Monster Blood batter was still in the basement. That doesn't mean that Kermit didn't scoop some up and used it, which he did. He scooped some up, he actually did experiments, and he made the shrinking one. So the opposite version, which is kind of crazy that it was blue, and it's like, if only he remembered that he did make a blue serum for Monster Blood, and that was the new serum that actually is activated. Oh well, frig it. Oh well, frig it. So I believe that Kermit actually became a crime boss because, well, his mom buys him whatever he wants, so he's a crime boss, and his mom will take the blame if he ever gets sent to jail. So it's very simple. Kermit actually studied Monster Blood nonstop. He kept on studying it. He was able to extract it and actually got the compounds, and he learned how to use it and actually make different versions of it. For S and giggles, we could say that he might have did that short story and he actually made that funny thing of where it's like, oh, it's in Pennsylvania, even though it's like, oh wait, it's in Georgia. If he's in Georgia, well, technically he could easily have just made it so that no one can trace him, which makes sense because the only way how to call in that short story is by sending a letter to this certain freaking address, which is like, yeah, it looks like it's a burner address. Many people do it. So anyways, as for Monster Blood Breakfast, what's going on here is very simple. Kermit was the person behind the screen. Kermit sold the people mini Monster Bloods for breakfast, or Monster Bloods. So he actually gave lots of people freaking damn Monster Blood around the world as guinea pigs. It's either that or he actually figured out how to do things. But the thing is that he never told anyone Jack. She just told him like certain things. He didn't give him like, oh, don't put it near plants, or oh, don't do this or do that. He just gave it to him as an enhancer. I'm pretty sure he just made them guinea pigs. I'm pretty sure he has guinea pigs around the damn world. And he's just checking to see either A, that's the guy I gave the enhancer to. Look at him go. He's now in the NBA. Or, a plant went psycho and kept growing and killed a kid. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Monster Blood. Okay, let me write that as the messed up cons and make sure I add that next time. Don't put it near plants. Don't feed it near plants. And that's how Monster Blood for Breakfast is connected to all Monster Bloods, is because I'm pretty sure Kermit is the person behind the mask. It makes perfect sense. He has the Monster Blood. He did actually in the third book kind of look through it and how to actually undo the process, but he did it too well, though. Too well. And now we're here to the point of where he actually spent years, maybe even a decade, looking through this. And this is how Monster Blood for Breakfast is born. Yeah, it's awesome. It would be cool to tell R.L. Stine secretly, it's like, hey, let me just tell you how to add a little bit more things to make this a little bit more in the Goosebumps realm. But of course, you know how it is. He won't really listen to people. He's good all by himself. A-okay. Now we get to Monster Blood is back. That's going to be a little bit of a puzzler here because Monster Blood is back is a little bit of something I don't really know for sure. But here goes. For Monster Blood is back. Sorry for the spoilers, but 3, 2, 1 spoiled. It's a whole entire dream. So since it's a dream, and like I said, the previous Monster Blood, Evan's can was the only can enchanted. All the other cans are nothing. So unless I get true confirmation that it's Andy's can, but we don't really get that confirmation. All we know is that the Monster Blood was used in the third book, and it didn't grow because it doesn't have an expiration date. We don't know the expiration date of this Monster Blood as well. It could be a new expiration date, or it could be the same expiration date. Even so, that means that it's both obsolete. Meaning that basically expiration date makes sure that the magic doesn't really work. Because the expiration date actually helped. Because, well, I'm pretty sure, like I said previously, with the magic involved, the expiration date can be trumped. But considering the magical power source is gone because the idiot, it doesn't think for itself, it doesn't know crap. That's why the expiration date was very useful, because the magic was waned. The magic actually got hindered a decent amount. So that's why that didn't work. That's why the freaking expiration date was actually the one that says, you're fired. So with all that said, we get to Monster Blood for Breakfast, and even if you wanted it to be real, it can't be real because there's so many other freaking issues with this, because it mixed so much others from the previous books. You know, it mixed from Monster Blood for Breakfast, the fact that some people got buff. It mixed from Monster Blood, original Monster Blood 2, I guess, because it went 10 feet tall. I would say the third one, but I think it didn't really do that. I think it might have. So you have to actually add yeast to the freaking Monster Blood for that to work. Yeast or cake batter, but I'm pretty sure it's the yeast. So with all that said, and it's a freaking dream in the first place, the monster blood won't do crap for anyone. So there you go. In the end, the monster blood actually is nothing. Sorry to tell you this, but the monster blood now is nothing. The whole entire world has monster blood, but it won't work for you. Not unless Kermit gave it to you. That's it. And it comes in a green and purple box. That's about it. It's kind of weird too, where it's like, yeah, but the grandfather said that he had that box for so many years, and it's like, and you just don't supposed to touch that box, and it's like, that's weird though. It's like, that's pretty weird. It's like, yeah, that short story came out when Slappy World was being, I think Slappy World was being actually pimped out. So it's like, if that's true, then I don't know. It's like, yeah, I don't know how old that is. Maybe it was like Kermit's secret first start being like, I'm gonna make Monster Blood and release it to the world too. And we'll see how messed up the fire burns. It's like, yes, because my goodness, Kermit is a messed up individual without being checked, which he never was checked ever in his life. Of course, he becomes a crime boss. And of course, he's actually completely a nut job, crazy man that actually would even give monster blood to anyone just to see how much he'll kill them. Because in the end of it all, he is a freaking damn scientist. Not to mention listening the whole thing of the fourth one, which the fourth one is not truly canon, but I say it kind of can be canon because it still kind of tells us what exactly what the characters be doing. He wanted to put tarantulas on freaking Evan to see how that plays out. So you're and as far as it's like, well, hold on, if the fourth is canon, then how come he wasn't playing with monster blood in that one? I would have to say the reason why is because he was doing other experiments while not truly caring about monster blood. That and also the fact of he was lucky that he was able to actually get the monster blood he needed, or at least the cake batter was able to be used to synthesize something. But with more technology and more tools, which pretty sure he has to actually work through the ranks or make his mom be a slave driving his mom whoosh, whoosh, on getting all the equipment he needs to synthesize it. Or it's just the fact of he went to a very awesome school in high school or college and he used their facilities to synthesize it. It depends on which way you want him to go. I'm pretty sure the kid is pretty kind of smart, so I'm pretty sure he could have actually have done what Peter Parker is doing. He's in a high school that actually sparks his mind and doing the same thing Peter Parker's doing. He was actually making web fluid while in class, and well, looks like Kermit was secretly after hours making monster blood, trying to figure out how it ticks. Because again, he has a lot of cake batter residue all over the place. So I'm pretty sure he has at least a decent amount to do that. But I'm like, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he just figured it out automatically. He just needed that little freaking like cupful of the batter to extract the monster blood completely. And considering he kind of did it in the third book, of course he figured it out. And of course he actually is playing with it. And of course it will take years and decades to do something. And I bet it might have been just his prototype. It's like, yeah, just a prototype being like, I can send this box to someone. And who knows, maybe that old man did something messed the freak up to him. It's like, yeah, so he sent it to an old man or this man because this man most likely said something crap. Heck, for all we know, this old man could have been like someone who tried to get with his mom, and he's like, I'm not down with that. And he sent that box to kill him. And he figured out that the boxes messed the freak up, and he kept the box secret until the kids. It's like until the freaking kids. Oh man, that's pretty funny. But yeah, Monster Blood is back. It's not really fake, real. So that means that the monster blood doesn't exist there. That actually was activated. So there you go. So in the end, technically this whole entire thing of where it's like the monster blood is obsolete or all the monster blood should be around. She cursed the monster blood and or the can. And or Evan. Well, now it's not and or Evan. Yeah, I'm kicking to the curb now. The new thing is that she cursed the monster blood / the can. So Evan's can of monster blood. His can. Now, unless freaking Andy's like, here, I'm gifting you this monster blood. This monster blood is gifted to you, and it has no actual expiration date, or the expiration date is like way far away. Then we have an issue, and then we're gonna have to talk about it. And plus, it's like the idea of, Evan, don't you ever walk anywhere. It's like Evan, don't you ever walk anywhere ever. Because for all we know, it's like no antiques, no thrift stores, no pawn shops, no stores, none of them that could actually have any toys. Because if it does, oh good lord. And forget about it if it's like a supplement place and they have the freaking monster blood there. For all we know, the synthesized monster blood could actually be a messed up danger too. So it's like, I'm pretty sure like around his perimeter, or if he touches it, uh-oh. But considering, I would have to say now, this new theory is the can itself has been cursed. And if he touches the can is the messed up thing. But since there's an expiration date on the can is rendered useless. And of course, well, during the years, it's like the power, then the power got taken away. It got reactivated, but then the expiration date did something to it, and now it got reactivated by the yeast. But considering it's like watered down magic, the watered down curse, that means that it didn't work as much as it could, because it could actually have just gave him a heart attack or a big horrible stomach ache. And considering it was in the batter and it was a small bit, previously he ate like what, 2 handfuls versus eating 1 bit of the batter that he licked off. It's like that little piece of batter with the yeast and with the monster blood made him grow 40 foot tall. So that means that little bit of monster blood that was in there most likely can't do anything to him in the first place. And I also would think the idea of, besides the expiration date, and the second one, why he didn't get any tummy aches and rumbly tumblies, is because chances are, and I'm taking what Goosebumps just said, the fact of how much it expands, how much it just freaking grows and grows and grows and grows, it just basically ruins its potency. It ruins its drive to kill him if he actually engulfs it. Now, if it engulfs him, it remembers and it will do it. And then as soon as it engulfs him and destroys him, the monster bullet will be no more, because the main mission has been done. The main reason why the spell is here has been done. Since it's been done, the monster blood is no more. But considering there's an expiration date, that's why it all ends. So there you go, and we'll see if I have to do a newer version with the next book. Sadly, from the other one that actually has Goosebumps related content, this is sadly a 2-parter. Anyways, have a scary day. Have a scary night.